I think once.
Once.
I'm kind of disturbed that I'm the only one in a suit.
Well, this on Thursdays we try to do away with suits and ties, but you still can take the jacket off and we do this.
I'm a newbie, so...
How are you, Lakini?
I'm good.
Yes.
Good to be back, but holding brief as well.
Yeah.
And of course, Entertainment Thursday, one of my favorite days on Channel 1. Good morning, Kenya.
Yes. So we hope that you'll push with us throughout this program and get to enjoy what we enjoy together with the audience every Thursday. But before that, take us through the news. Of
course, it's time to know what exactly is shaping up the news conversation in the country in our news. So straight to the news, where President William Ruto has gazetted the dismissal of his entire cabinet and assigned Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, who is also the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, to act in all the vacant ministerial positions. In a Gazette notice dated July the 12th, Head of State said the ministerial position of 21 Cabinet Secretary and the Attorney General are now officially vacant. The President said the reorganization of his administration was necessary to set the operations of the government, and the newly structured cabinet he will be appointing soon will assist him in accelerating the necessary radical programs to deal with the burden of debt, rising domestic resources, expanding job opportunities, eliminating wastages and unnecessary duplication of a multiplicity of government agencies. Against the abduction of veteran journalist Macharia Gaido yesterday morning at Karen police station. Gaido, who was with his son during the ordeal, said he drove to the Karen police station to seek refuge after an unmarked car with unknown individuals trailed him from his home. Journalists staged protests in Nakuru and Thika following the attack on the Nakuru-based journalist attached to Media Max. And as Giverson Maina now reports, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, has vowed to instigate and investigate the matter and bring the culprits to book.
Wednesday morning at the Karen police station in Nairobi, veteran journalist Macharia Gaido is seen in a viral video being bundled into a car by men said to be detectives from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, and driven off. He was later released with police saying he was taken for Francis Gaido, a social media influencer police said is of interest.
It's the time they asked for my ID and I gave it to them. They looked at it, they said, "You're the Francis Macharia Gaido?" I said, "Yes." Then they told me it was a case of mistaken identity and that I am free to go.
As he told off the police, Gaido narrated how an unmarked car was trailing him alongside his son right from his home in Karen, and even attempted to block them on the road before they sped off to the station for safety, only to be followed and abducted at the station.
We drove away, they followed us, and we decided to come to Karen police station because we recognize that this is an abduction.
The Kenya Editors Guild and the Kenya Union of Journalists have since demanded the arrest and prosecution of the said police officers, failure to which the media will hold demos on Wednesday next week.
Marsh amekuja katika kituo cha polisi ambapo anajihisi kwamba ni salama, lakini kufikia wakati ambapo analengwa akiwa katika kituo cha polisi ni jambo la kusikitisha sana na ni jambo ambalo tunalikemea pakubwa sana.
The Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, has promised to conduct their investigations over the matter.
Very thorough and quick investigations will be carried out, not just for this case of Macharia Gaido. We already have one file with DPP, among others, at least the journalist's file, the one who was shot at using a tear gas canister.
These as journalists in Nakuru County staged demos following the shooting over journalists attached to MediaMax during Tuesday's protests.
It is important that the officer in question be held accountable for his action to ensure justice for Ms. Wanjeri and to set a precedent that such conduct by law enforcement officers will not be tolerated.
Similar protests were also held in Thika, Kiambu County.
It is worth noting that Ms. Wanjeri was donning the Media Council of Kenya press jacket, which is clearly visible when she was shot twice in the thigh.
The Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, has assured members of the public that police officers who killed or injured innocent civilians during the protests will be dealt with in accordance with the law. Giverson Minor, Nairobi.
And still on the protest, traders say they are counting losses as calm slowly returns to the country after Tuesday's protest. Several shops and supermarkets were broken into by suspected criminals who looted property estimated to amount to millions of shillings. Following the demos, the clergy in the coast have called for an end to the protest to allow President to work on the demands of the youth.
The agony resulting from massive looting and destruction of property occasioned by Tuesday's protests is visible in Joseph Ndegua's face. Ndegua runs a restaurant in Nyahururu town and is among traders who recounted how looters descended on their businesses, damaging equipment, including a fridge worth 600,000 shillings.
Jana we experienced tulienda hasara kubwa sana. Juu vijana walituvamia, wakakula nyama, wakatuvujia maduka, na sasa tunasikia ni kama hiyo maandamano ni kama sasa ni kama tunairani sasa.
Their counterparts in Embu County, led by Chairman Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industries Mugo Mati, condemned the violent protests while calling on the police to bring the culprits to book.
Tunataka tuulize hawa vijana, mmesema hamuna kazi. Wakati unaharibu biashara ambayo imeajiri vijana 15, wewe unataka wenzako wapate kazi ama unataka wafutwe kazi? Ni kusema wewe ndio umelazimisha kuwafuta. So we are saying we support the peaceful demonstrations and we ask the government to act accordingly.
Tunatafuta amani Kitengela. Tunataka amani Kitengela.
In Kajiado County, dejected investors have vowed to protect their properties against looters. Similar sentiments have been echoed by business owners in Homa Bay County, which also witnessed violent protests.
Wakati wajenzi wameingia kwa barabara, biashara pia tunafunga.
Meanwhile, a 23-year-old lady is seeking justice after she was allegedly raped by 9 goons during demos in Kakamega.
Sasa nilikuwa kwa gate, nilikuwa na ndani na nilikuwa nimefunga, walikuwa wamefunga gate na hakuweka kufuli. Nikashtukia tu wenye wamefungua gate na wakaingia wote. Walikuwa watu 9.
In Machakos County, boda operators staged demonstrations in Mlolongo demanding that police arrest suspected criminals who attacked several riders and torched their bikes during the protest on Tuesday.
Hao vijana wanafaa wajue. Tunawajua, tunajua kwao, tunajua kazi yenye wanafanya, tunajua penye wako. Si ukweli? Na pia sisi huwa tunawabeba. Si namna hiyo?
Meanwhile, clerics in Mombasa called for an end to the protest to allow for dialogue. The clergy asked police to exercise restraint in dealing with protesters to avert more deaths.
Mmefanya kazi nzuri, maana ni haki yenu kuandamana na kudai haki zenu. Ila mahali imefikia, tunahisia ya kwamba kuna watu wengine ambao wamejiingiza katika hayo maandamano ambao sasa ila agenda iliyokuwa vijana sio hiyo.
And in other news, rowdy youths disrupted a press conference called by the Azimio La Umoja One Kenya coalition on Wednesday, sending everyone, including journalists, scampering for safety. The goons attacked members of the fourth estate who had been invited to cover the announcement by the coalition on its next course of action, following a confusion that has attempted to derail the proposed national dialogue. And in what appears to be rifts within Azimio after Wiper Party, DAP Kenya, Jubilee and NAC Kenya differed with Raila Odinga's Orange Democratic Movement over whether to heed to calls by the government to sit and discuss a way out of the current crisis.
Sound check, is it okay? Can you hear? Which way, Azimio? Camera people? All is not well in the Raila Odinga-led coalition at least by the scenes witnessed at the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Foundation on Wednesday. The day began with all affiliate parties holding their NEC meetings in their respective backyards.
The position we have taken as DAP is that we will not be party to the dialogue or to the broad-based government. If our colleagues in Azimio choose to join, we will not be party to it. That will be their position. And we believe every Azimio coalition party is today holding their neck to make individual decisions.
In the end, Wiper Party, DAP-K, Jubilee and NAC Kenya appeared to have read from a different script in response to overtures by the government in the wake of violent protests.
The joint meeting of the parliamentary group of Azimio La Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party was held today, Wednesday, the 17th of July 2024. The coalition expresses its sympathy and condolences to those who lost their loved ones and the hundreds who were maimed, injured, and who had their properties destroyed.
Kalonzo Musyoka and his colleagues were hustled out at the very tent that Raila Odinga had addressed ODM's governing council hours earlier.
During the demonstrations.
Journalists too were caught up in the ensuing mayhem, with goons attacking the press who had been invited to cover the opposition's announcement on its next course of action.
Hey, Voleban. Hey, Voleban. Na kiti.
Attempts by the Ugunja Member of Parliament Opiyo Wandayi to cool down tempers appeared futile. Sources within the coalition said ODM had agreed to take up positions in government. ODM released a statement indicating that it will conditionally dialogue with the government. The declaration by ODM, however, appears to contradict a declaration by Raila Odinga over the weekend in Mukuru slums.
No dialogue. Tunataka action. Taka nini?
Now from politics, 1,210 intern doctors are set to be posted and commence the internship by the 1st of August this year. This is after the signing of an addendum meeting between the Ministry of Health and the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union KMPDU amidst ongoing negotiations. The ministry was represented by Public Health and Professional Standards Principal Secretary Meru, while the Union Secretary General Davji Atela represented KMPDU.
In the press statement, the ministry confirmed the signing of a return-to-work agreement between itself and the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, dated May 8, 2024. The signing now confirms the posting of 1,210 intern doctors, allowing them to commence their internships by August 1st this year. The ministry has also revoked the internship offer letters issued on March 18, 2024, adding that the terms of engagement for those intern doctors will follow the conditions set out in their internship placement letters. On the issue of remuneration, the matter has been referred to Eldoret Employment and Labour Relations Court Petition E003 of 2024 and other related cases. All arrears earned before the court's decision will be paid in full within 90 days of the ruling. The ministry and KMPDU are further acknowledging the ongoing court matters related to this issue in the Employment and Labour Relations Court in Eldoret and Nairobi. The two parties have also recognized the establishment of the Presidential Task Force on Addressing Human Resources for Health on July 5, 2024, which includes KMPDU members to address issues related to the Human Resources for Health internship and provide recommendations. The ministry is expressing its gratitude to KMPDU for its steadfast commitment and constructive engagement throughout this process.
In other news, Justice David Shikomera Maanja has been cremated after a funeral service held at Friends International Center Church in Nairobi on Wednesday. Majanja's remains were interred according to his wishes. At the funeral service, the late Justice was eulogized as a gentle, great giant whose illustrious career had been cut short.
Wednesday, family, friends, judicial officers and staff conglomerated at Friends Church Ngong Road to eulogize the man whom they described as one who had a deep understanding of the law.
For my son, he is from here to the grave, whatever that grave will be. It is therefore the reason why we have brought that which you do whenever the person lives here, goes maybe to Muranga, to Kakamega, and so you excuses.
Asanteni sana, kusema ukweli mumetushika mkono, tunashukuru. Nikali enyewe nikali.
The head of public service, Felix Koskei, urged public servants to borrow a leaf from the late in matters of professionalism.
Together we worked very well, and he was always a man who was bringing all of us together whenever there are issues that we have divergent minds.
The president of the Supreme Court, Martha Koome, stated she was amazed by Majanja's consistency in delivering judgments on time and has left a legacy among the judges with the highest number of judgments delivered in the judiciary.
Emulating his example, all we can do is all of us become the defenders of the law and the providers of our own communities. He has left us at a difficult time as a nation when we are mourning also our children who have died in the quest of expressing their rights as founded in the Constitution.
Judges and magistrates remembered him as a defender of the law, impacted and guided them in their profession.
A CAP, where he was the founder and the patron. So we are going to miss you, our patron. Your unwavering support, dedication, and love for football will forever be remembered. You are more than a patron. You are a pillar of strength, a source of wisdom, and true fun in every sense of the word.
He was, as a bright mind as he was not selfish with his knowledge. Not only did he mentor the young judges, but those of us always will seek advice from him. We'll consult and we'll, when we have difficult matters before us.
He had a great sense of urgency. In retrospect, maybe he knew time was short, but we are grateful for his life.
Majanja had been unopposedly re-elected to represent the Kenya Magistrate and Judges Association, KMJA, at JSC on 28th May this year. A private interment ceremony was held by the family after the service, with a memorial service set to be held in Shinyalu constituency, Kakamega County, on Saturday, July 20th, 2024. With this mantra, law is my life, justice is my blood, the late Majanja has left an indelible mark in the legal fraternity. Ruth Wambo reporting from Friends International Church in Meru.
May the great judge rest in peace. In other news, a new survey has revealed 67% of Kenyans support the recent dissolution of the cabinet by President William Ruto, while 32% were not satisfied with the move. According to the study by Polytrack Africa, Kenyans' confidence in President William Ruto's leadership has also received a boost, with 32.8% calling for more reforms in his administration.
Key findings from the latest Polytrack poll indicate that a significant majority of Kenyans support the recent dissolution of the cabinet by the head of state. According to the poll, 67% of Kenyans applaud the move to dissolve the cabinet, while 32% are not satisfied with the executive decision. The executive order to end the tenure of cabinet secretaries has also inspired confidence in the president among 51.3% of respondents. However, public discontent is still notable, with 32.8% calling for further reforms. In the survey, 71.3% of respondents expressed desire to see the size of the cabinet reduced to 15 members, citing efficiency and cost-effectiveness as primary reasons. The poll was conducted from 12 to 15 July 2024 and sampled 6,064 registered voters across all 47 counties using computer-assisted telephonic interviews. This coming as a nationwide network of whistleblowers, bloggers and activists urge that Kenya be left to sort out its affairs with any undue external interference.
We urge all social movement to embrace patriotism and constitutionalism. Number 3, we are going to urge all political actors to uphold tolerance, mutual respect to social movements. Number 4, we urge this different social movement to embrace dialogue in their own different platform.
Moving on, the National Counterterrorism Center says it is putting in place comprehensive mechanism to address emerging challenges, incorporate good practices and strengthen collective resilience against violent extremism. The center says it has completed public participation and the views from Kenyans will help enrich its plan on how to deal with the threats of terrorism in the face of the fast-changing technology.
On Wednesday, the National Counterterrorism Center hosted members from the security circles, both from the national and county levels, civil society actors and religious leaders, for the second round participation on the revised national strategy on counter-violent extremism.
Having NSCV as a guidance, it kind of helps us not only to successfully implement, but more important, to be able to measure success.
The model that Kenya has adopted is transcending, it is actually pivotal globally because it hasn't happened, and Kenya has become a model case for a lot of countries in the world in how we have been able to devolve interventions that are gearing towards prevention of violent extremism.
The meeting was to enlighten the stakeholders on the draft document based on views collected from the public.
I'm excited about the new strategy, and I'm sure it's going to help us address that menace.
There have been gaps here and there, and this new strategy is aimed at addressing those gaps that were identified and ensure that we prevent more the issues of violent extremism.
We hope that whatever comes up in this new strategy, we will have to enhance security.
The center says once the draft is adopted by the National Security Council, it will help to come up with a strategic plan to guide it going forward on how the country will deal with violent extremism and emerging threats.
So what we are doing is doing a public participation, bringing together all sectors of the community with 8 counties represented here to just go through the draft and hear what all stakeholders have to say about this draft and to ensure that all views are included.
The move, it says, can only be won with cooperation of members of the public.
Before, as a religious leaders, we were seeing it as something category to another sect of the religion, but after engaging with them, we have found it is a word which is going to help us.
To Meru County now, where a notice of motion to impeach Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza has been tabled at the Meru County Assembly. The motion tabled by Zipporah Kinya, a nominated member of the Assembly, is accusing the governor of misappropriation of county public funds and misuse of public office. This is the 3rd time in a row that Governor Mwangaza has faced impeachment since assuming office in 2022.
A showdown is looming yet again in Meru County after a motion to impeach Governor Kawira Mwangaza was tabled at the County Assembly for a 3rd time. The governor is facing 2 counts, including misuse of public office and misappropriation of public funds.
Irregular payment of emergency call allowances to 161 doctors and medical officers using the wrong rates, leading to excessive payment of 74,340,000, contrary to sections 45(2) and 46 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act, section 11 and 15 of the Public Officers Ethics Act, and section 12 of the Leadership and Integrity Act.
But the motion has divided the assembly across the middle, with some members claiming witch hunt.
Hii mswada imekuja juu ya kura ya 2027. Kuna watu bando hawajakubali governor ni mama, na kuna watu bando wanataka governor atoke na through impeachment ndiye asiweze kusimama kiti 2027.
Leo tarajio la Meru na letu ni kwamba tungeweza kuletewa appropriation bill kwenye assembly, tuweze kuipiga msasa ndio wananchi wa Meru waendelee kutendewa kazi. Lakini maandui wa maendeleo leo wameona ni siku kubwa sana wailete mswada ambayo tunasema ni siasa ya mwaka wa 2027 inayopigwa.
For the last 6 months tumefanya homework kama members of county assembly, na pia niseme hongera kwa mover wa motion kwa sababu the kind of evidence ameleta saizi is what we call overwhelming evidence.
The motion comes a day after 9 petitioners wrote to President William Ruto seeking the suspension of the Meru County government. The petitioners argue that service delivery has been affected owing to irreconcilable differences between the county assembly and the county executive. Kawira Mwangaza is not new to impeachment attempts, having survived 2 times after being served by the Senate in 2022 and 2023.
Sisi kama wananchi na kama wakazi wa hapa Meru tunasupport hiyo maneno, na tunasema ya kwamba kumekuwa sana na misappropriation of resources zetu, hatujakuwa tukipata development.
Kawira Mwangaza chenye analeta kwetu ni development zenye ni za hapo leo na kesho mnamalizana. Mfano kama kuenda kununulia watu vitu kama mtu mmoja kwa ao want ng'ombe moja, hiyo haisaidii.
Now, from politics in Meru, institutions of higher learning have been challenged to embrace innovation, research and artificial intelligence (AI) to equip graduates with relevant skills in the current evolving job market. KCA University Chancellor Professor Olive Mogenda says the world is gradually shifting to artificial intelligence and Kenyans cannot afford to be left behind when other education systems increasingly investing more in science, technology and mathematics (STEM). Mogenda spoke on Wednesday during the 16th graduation ceremony at the KCA University.
It can improve the way we do things. It can improve the efficiency, the effectiveness, and you can reach more people, and even precision. So that is why we need to be. I think it's important for higher education. And that's why I actually said maybe we need to have a center, so we can have a think tank which can start saying, okay, where do you use these very progressive computer systems to help our decision making and our and other activities.
The science, technology, engineering and mathematics, popularly known as STEM, where a lot of effort and resources are being channeled, and it is right from the preschool to primary, secondary. We have to be aligned that way.
And Public Service Commission interns cutting across different professions have kicked off their countrywide demonstrations after being denied jobs at the end of their internships. The trained interns from cohort 1 to cohort 6 of the government's internship program say that none of them has been offered any job despite the commission having different entry job openings. This and more stories making headlines in our county news roundup.
Government is being urged to listen to the concerns of public service interns and heed their demands.
And still remains that interns must be confirmed. It is their right. They have worked for the government for over 1 year. And it is due to this that we are asking the government to employ these interns on permanent and pensionable basis.
Meanwhile, Mining Principal Secretary Elijah Mwangi says the government has launched the survey and mapping of all abandoned quarries across the country following the increased cases of deaths and bodies dumped in deserted quarries.
Our regional mines officers are the instructions to assess them so that we can identify those quarries that require to be fenced. What form of fencing are we going to do as part of rehabilitation?
Elsewhere, newly appointed Prisons Commissioner General Patrick Mwiti Arandu says he will prioritize the modernization of the Prisons Department as he banks on a complete shift that will also equip inmates with the necessary skills once rehabilitated.
I realized that in the past, some of the institutions didn't have facilities for schools, hospitals, and even training, vocational training like industries. So the modern facilities that we want to come up with will have these components so that we ensure by the time an inmate leaves prison, for sure they are well trained.
In Nyandarua County, Kenya Forest Service has announced a ban on farmers cultivating in parts of the Aberdare forest.
Kupanda chakula, maaskari sasa wakaanza kukuja, kuharibu fence na kutupea notisi ya siku 14. Shida letu ni miti hata yenye tumepanda haijatoka chini. Sasa tulikuwa tunaomba serikali itusaidie. Angalau watupe muda, angalau hata kama ni miezi 6 ili hizi chakula zetu tafadhali tuzitoke. Zikitoka sisi tutawaondokea.
Finally, Utalii College has joined hands with several 5-star hotels for the National Tourism Competition to promote Kenya as a preferred destination.
And I'm here to observe and also help the college in making sure that we are maintaining the standards in the industry out there. The competition helps even the competitors to learn from each other and also to see that they are also gaining and they're also networking with their colleagues, and the hotels be able to look at what is happening, compare with what we've been told, being alumni of the college, and make sure that the standards are maintained.
The new civil society groups have called for an urgent audit of all loans advanced by the International Monetary Fund (IMF) to ascertain the effectiveness. The Institute for Social Accountability says Kenya's loan from the Washington lender has jumped from 50 billion shillings to 421 billion shillings in 5 years, raising concerns of Kenya's indebtedness to the IMF.
Continental free trade area. We have got market access. It's been negotiated. So thanks to all our people who negotiated it, we have that access, which means in Africa, 35 countries in Africa, we can export to all of them and do it duty-free. That is huge potential. So demand side is not a problem. We're really in a good position today because our agreements, our access to markets, forget AFCFTA in Africa. We've got market access to AGOA, African Growth Opportunity Act, which is the whole American market. You can export anything from here, duty-free, tax-free, into USA. Did you know that? You can. Everything duty-free, tax-free, and India or other places have a 30-40% tax rate. We've got it duty-free. Are we still taking advantage of that?
Time to shift gears to sports, where 400 meters Africa silver medalist Kevin Kipkorir will finally be able to join the 4x400 meters mixed relay team currently training in Miramas, France, later this week in preparation for the Paris Olympic Games as he awaits his appeal to Athletics Integrity Unity and World Athletics. The Paris Olympic Games, which officially begin on 26th of this month, will be televised live right here on KBC Channel 1.
Kevin Kipkorir anajiunga tena na timu ya Kenya ya mita 400 kila mwanariadha kwa wanariadha 4 wa kiume na kike inayojiandaa kwa michezo ya Olimpiki baada ya kuondolewa.
Very well remembered, all to catch all the action beginning next week right here on your true sports partner, KBC Channel 1. My name is Njue. For more news, kindly log on to our social media spaces, including our website, that is www.kbc.co.ke. You're up to date. Good morning.